My name is Trevor and I'm going to be taking you through an hour-long beginner vinyasa class. Now, in this class we're going to keep things moving and flowing, so try and follow along, but if at any point you do feel like you need to take a little bit of a break, come down to a child's pose and just catch your breath and then join in again. February is all about love and we're all about loving the body that we're in, so be gentle with yourself. Try not to force any of the poses. If anything doesn't feel great, go for one of the slightly easier modifications which I will be showing for some of the more challenging poses. This is all about nurturing your body and feeling good. You won't need any props for this class as such, but it might be useful to have a yoga block or maybe just a couple of pillows handy for some of the poses. Okay, let's get ourselves down onto the mat and get warmed up. So let's begin by sitting on the mat. Find a nice comfortable cross-legged position. Ideally, one leg is folded in just in front of the other leg. If you feel like this is a little bit tight in the hips, you can, like I said, bring yourself onto a couple of pillows or perhaps a yoga block just to give you this little bit of freedom in the hips. Okay, let's begin by generating a little bit of heat. So bring your palms together and vigorously rub them together. Good, keep rubbing until you feel a nice little bit of heat between the palms. Then we're going to take that heat and we're going to place it over the eyes, over the cheeks, down the throat, on the shoulders, and then we give the hands a little bit of a rub again. Good, now we're going to take that heat and we're going to start from the shoulder and we're going to give the arm a little bit of a squeeze. So we're going to go down one arm and we're going to go squeeze, 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 all the way down. When you get to the hand, we're going to do a little flick, flicking the energy off the fingertips, giving it a little bit of a pull, and then we rub again, generate some more heat. Get the palms nice and charged with vital energy, and then we go down the other arm. Starting at the shoulder, we go squeeze, 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 all the way down the wrist, the hand. When you get to the fingers, you do a little flick, the little finger, index finger. Good, last time, rubbing together vigorously, work up that heat and energy. And then we're going to do a little bit of tapping. We're going to start at the chest and we're just going to tap the chest muscles. Down the ribs, down to the abdominals, give the abdominals a little bit of a tap. Down the thighs, all the way to the knee. The bottom, give your bottom a little bit of a tap. Good, now for the back, turn your hand and use the back of your hand and give the back of your back muscles a little bit of a tap. Okay, and then just come back to seated with the hands on your knees. Let's start with a couple of shoulder circles. Just waking up those joints, just gentle to begin with. You can always get bigger as you go along. Let's reverse. Starting small, gradually getting bigger, exploring the full range of your shoulder. Good, then we do the elbow circle, bring the fingertips onto the shoulder muscles and we go touch the elbows in the front, circle past the ears towards the back wall and past the ribs. Front, up, back and down. One more in this direction. And then we reverse, touch in the front, down, towards the back wall, past the ears. Front, down, back and up. Last one, front, down, back and up, and then just bring the hands back down onto your knees. Let's do a couple of neck movements side to side. So we look to the right and look all the way to the left. Look to the right and to the left. Gradually making the movement bigger, as if you're trying to look all the way behind you. Now on the next one, we're going to do a semicircle from side to side. So from the right side, we circle down towards the chest and to the left. Down towards the chest and to the right. Not forcing the chin down to the chest, but just going far enough so you feel that little bit of a stretch up the back of the neck. And then finish in the center. Let's go for a little bit of side bending. So one arm goes up, the other fingers go down to the floor. Walk the fingers out, place the elbow down. Take a few breaths here, just feeling that opposite sit bone reaching for the mat underneath you. And then coming up, switching arms, fingertips walk out, the elbow goes down. A couple of breaths here, feeling that opposite sit bone hanging heavy towards the floor. One more either side, switching arms, the fingertips walk out, the elbow goes down. A couple of breaths here, energy out the fingertips, energy down through that opposite sit bone. Coming up, over to the other side, we're just waking up those side body muscles. And coming up, let's go for some rotation, opposite hand to the knee, lifting up through the spine, using your hands and arms to gently rotate. Back to the center, switching arms, other side. And back to the first side. How much can you lift up through the spine as you use the arms to rotate your spine? Last time to the second side. And coming back to the center. Let's come to our 4-point kneeling. Continue our warm-up with a couple of cat-cows. Have the fingers nicely spread directly under the shoulders. The knees are directly under the hips. Round the spine, curl the tailbone to the nose and the nose to the tailbone. Pull the abdominals deep up into your spine. And then we'll reverse. Arching the back, the eyes go up, the tailbone goes up. And again, rounding the spine, hollowing the abdominals up into your back. And arching. Let's add an arm and a leg. So the left arm reaches forward, the right arm reaches back. Take a moment here just to stabilize. Zip the abs in. And we round the spine again. This time bring the knee and the elbow together. Curling the head under. And then extend. Lift the arm and the leg as high up to the ceiling as you can, looking up. Rounding the spine, pulling the abdominals deep. And lifting up. One more time on this side. How round can you make the spine? Pull the abs deep, curl the head to the knee, and extend, arching the spine, and coming back to the neutral. Make sure the shoulders are unshrugged, right arm and left leg extend, and we round the spine. Pull the knee towards the elbow and the head curls under, and we extend. Arm and leg reach as high up as you can. Second time, rounding the spine. Can the belly button go a little deeper into the back? And extend. Last time, rounding. Nose to the knee, knee to the nose. And extend. Whoops, zip those abs in. And find the 4-point kneeling. Okay, let's go for our first downward facing dog. Curl the toes under and press yourself up to a downward facing dog. Hold for a moment. How straight can you get the knees? How much can you ground the heels? And then we smoothly lower back down to 4-point kneeling, keeping the toes curled under. Let's press up again. Let's think about the shoulders this time. Unshrug the shoulders, deepen those abdominals. Have that little bit of space between your shoulders and your ears. And then with as much control as you can, lower back down to 4-point kneeling. One more, pressing up. Good. Now this time let's walk the dog. So bend one leg and press the other heel down to the floor. And then switch. Put the weight in the other heel, press it down to the floor. Just feel that nice deep stretch down the calves and the hamstrings. Keep lifting your sit bones up to the ceiling and switch. One last time, either side. smoothly switch, press that heel down. And other side, keep spreading those fingers and pressing the palms into the floor. Then finish in the center, press both heels down. Bending the knees and place them down. Okay, let's have a look at our first vinyasa. Extend the right leg out until you're in a long plank position. From here, activate the abdominals to extend the other leg. There is our high plank. From here, we have two options. You can either put the knees down and then the chest down, or you can lower all the way to low plank. Whichever position you're in, you roll over the feet and you press the hips up to the ceiling for upward facing dog. And then we lift the hips to come to downward facing dog. Okay, let's look at those two versions again. So come to your 4-point kneeling. Extend one leg out to high plank. Extend the other leg out to high plank. Now you choose, either you're going to go all the way down to low plank, or you're going to put the chest and the knees down. Then we place the hips as you roll over the feet and lift the chest up for upward facing dog. Unshrug the shoulders and then lift the hips up to downward facing dog. Good, and then just have a quick moment in child's pose. If at any point you feel like you need to have a break, this is the position you come to. You can choose whether the arms stay out front or whether it feels more comfortable to bring the arms down by your side. And then once you've had a few moments in your child's pose and you feel ready to join us again, just bring yourself up and catch up with wherever we are. For now, let's all come together in our downward facing dog, and we'll go for our first flow sequence. Okay, so we lift the right leg up as high as you can to the ceiling, and then you fold that foot in towards the opposite sit bone. Really feel that openness across the hip. Let the foot just hang. Now from here, that leg extends back up. We rise up onto the bottom foot. You bring that knee through towards your nose, and we're going to put it down between your hands. The back toe uncurls, and then just slide yourself down until this bottom comes down onto the floor for our pigeon stretch. And we lengthen forward. I like to cross my palms in front of my head, place my head down, but perhaps you like to have your arms extended and the head all the way down on the mat. Good, just take a couple of breaths here. Our breathing for yoga ideally is in through the nose, out through the nose, but if for any reason you're feeling a bit congested, you can breathe through the mouth. Okay, now from here, keep the back leg as straight as you can behind you, and we walk all the way up onto the fingertips, just pressing the chest up to the ceiling, feeling that nice openness across the left hip. Now place the hands flat, lift yourself up a little bit to curl the back toes under, and we step back to our high plank. Here is your vinyasa, so you choose knees up or knees down as you lower down, pressing up to upward facing dog, and lifting the hips for downward facing dog. We repeat on the left leg goes up, lengthen it up to the ceiling, and then fold that heel to the bottom. Let's spend a moment here just feeling that nice open feeling across the left hip. Make sure both arms are straight. Now that leg extends back up to the ceiling. You bring the knee high up towards your nose, and then you place that shin down. The back foot uncurls. You slide back until you can put the left hip down, and we lengthen forward. Choose whether you're going to have your head on your hands or extend the arms forward. And we breathe. Really pay attention to the breath. One more breath here. Now walk yourself up onto your hands. If you need that extra bit of lift, you can come up onto the fingertips. Try and keep the back leg nice and straight so that you feel that opposition stretch between your chest going up and the back leg reaching behind you. Okay, placing the palms back down, lift the hips a little bit, curl the back toes under, and we step back to our high plank, lowering down to low plank, or put the knees down. Chest goes up for upward facing dog. Hips go up for downward facing dog. And we're ready to repeat the next part of our vinyasa sequence. The right leg goes up and it folds towards the bottom. Extend the right leg back up. This time, bring the knee to the outside of your right arm and you place the foot on the outside of your right hand. The back knee goes down, the toes can uncurl. Take a moment here just to let the hips melt down towards the floor. The front foot turns out a little bit and the knee just follows. So we're about 30 degrees out to the side with that front foot and knee. Now, if this feels like you have a little bit more range, you can come down onto the elbows. Just take a couple of breaths wherever you are, melting the hips to the floor. And then we add some rotation. We open the chest up to the ceiling, reaching that right arm up, melting the left hip down towards the mat. Take a deep breath there. And bring the hand back down to the mat. Come up onto both hands. Curl the back toes. Lift the back knee. And we step back to high plank. Here's our vinyasa. Low plank, or put the knees and chest down. Upward facing dog. And lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Let's repeat on the left. The left leg sweeps up. And you fold the heel to the bottom. The left leg extends, you bring the knee to the outside of the left knee and you step the foot down. Put the back knee down and uncurl the toes. The front foot is slightly turned out, about 30 degrees. Spend a moment here, let those hips melt towards the floor. If after a few moments you feel like you're ready to progress a bit further, we come down onto the elbows. And now we add our rotation. The left arm opens up. The hips melt down to the floor. Take a deep breath. And exhaling, bringing the hands back down to the mat. Curl the back toes under. Lift the back knee, stepping to high plank. We lower to low plank or put the knees and chest down. Rolling over to upward facing dog and lifting the hips. Downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here in downward facing dog. Remember, if you need to come catch your breath in child's pose, then come down to child's pose. Okay, we are into our standing series. Here we go. The right leg sweeps up and it folds to the bottom. The right leg extends, this time rise up onto the ball of the left foot, bring that knee through to your nose and step between your hands this time. Turn the back leg out to put the heel down and we sweep up to our warrior one. Take a moment here to really square the hips forward, curl the tailbone under, and deepen that front knee until you feel the front thigh engage. If this feels comfortable, the eyes can go up and you look at your thumbs. If you feel a bit wobbly in your balance, then keep looking straight forward. Let's breathe for 3 more breaths here. Really breathe all the way down into that hip flexor. One more breath. The hands come down, the back heel picks back up, and we step back to high plank. Low plank, or place the knees and chest down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a few moments here, grounding the heels, lifting the sit bones. And we repeat warrior 1 on the other side. Lift the left leg up, fold it to the bottom. Extend it back up, rising up onto the ball of the right foot. Bring the left knee through to your nose and step it between your hands. The back leg turns out. We sweep up to warrior 1. Take a few moments, square that right hip forward. Deepen the abdominals, deepen the lunge. If you've got your balance, the eyes go up. Otherwise, just keep looking forward. We breathe 3 more breaths in through the nose, right down into your abdominals and out through the nose. 2 more breaths. Lots of energy through that back knee. Place the hands down, lift the back heel up, stepping back to high plank. Low plank, or put the knees and chest down. Upward facing dog, shoulders away from the ears. Downward facing dog. Let's progress to warrior 2. Sweep the right leg up, fold it into the bottom. Extend the right leg back up. Bring that knee up towards the nose, step it through. The back heel goes down, and we sweep up to warrior 1. Now this time, open the hips and shoulders to the side to find warrior 2. So my hips and shoulders are facing the side of my mat, but my eyes are looking over my front fingertips. We breathe here. Engage the bottom muscles, engage the abdominals. Deepen the front bend lunge until you feel that thigh really firmly switched on. Last breath. Rotate the body to the front leg, place the hands down and lift the back heel up. We step back to our high plank and we lower down to low plank or place the knees on the chest. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Feel free at any point to take your child's pose rest position. Let's repeat on the left. Left leg sweeps up. It folds to the bottom. It extends back up. You pull the knee through. As you rise up on the other ball of your foot, you place the foot down. Back heel turns out and goes down. We sweep up through warrior 1 first. The hips and shoulders open for warrior 2. Take a moment to check that your hips and shoulders are square to the side of your mat. The abs are deep, the bottom muscles are wrapped. We breathe. 3 more breaths. Perhaps you can deepen that lunge a bit further to work that front thigh a bit stronger. Last breath. Rotate towards the floor, lift the back heel up, stepping back high plank to low plank, or placing the knees, lifting the chest up Upward facing dog. Lifting the hips. Downward facing dog. Let's add one more standing pose for today. Sweep the right leg up and fold it to the bottom. Extend the leg back up. Pull the knee high to the nose. Step it through. The back heel turns out and we sweep up to warrior one. Hold for a moment, squaring the hips. We open the hips to warrior two. Spend a moment here just deepening the lunge. Now from here, straighten the front leg. Start lengthening forward over the front leg. And we tilt forward, placing the front hand on the front ankle, and we rotate the hips and shoulders up towards the ceiling. Breathing there for 5 breaths, deepening the abs, unshrugging the shoulders. If you feel like you're going to the ankle is a bit too far, you can come a little higher up and go for the shin, but try not to put any pressure on the knee joint. Last 2 breaths. Bending the front knee, placing the hands either side of the front foot. Lift the back heel, we step back high plank to low plank or place the knees. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And we repeat on the left. Sweep the left leg up and fold it towards the bottom. Straighten the left leg, rising up on the right, bring the knee all the way through, stepping on that front foot, turn the back heel out, we sweep up to warrior one. Take a moment, square the hips, deepen the abs. Open the hips and shoulders, warrior two. Take another moment. Make sure the tailbone is underneath you. Triangle pose, extend the front leg. We start lengthening forward. The hand comes down on the front ankle. The shoulder and the chest rotates up to the ceiling. We breathe. Actively pull those thigh muscles up so that the knees are protected. Unshrug the shoulders and lengthen the spine. Keep breathing. Remember, you can be a little higher up your leg, but try not to put your hand on top of your knee. Last breath. Turn the head back to the front foot, bend the front knee, the hands go down. Turn that back foot to parallel, stepping back, high plank to low plank. Lifting the chest, upward facing dog. Lifting the hips, downward facing dog. This time bend the knees, cross the ankles and sit all the way behind your feet to extend the legs forward. Let's now go for our mat poses. From here we're going to go for a reclined twist first. So rolling onto your back. Bring the knees just over your hips. The arms go out to the side, palms facing up in a T shape. We take the hips and the knees all the way over to the right. And the head turns to the left. If you're having trouble keeping your knees together, you can place your right arm on the outside of your left knee to help weigh it down, or you can extend the top leg. We breathe here for 5 breaths. Deeply in through the nose, out through the nose. Every exhale, just try and release that left shoulder down to the floor a bit more. Last breath. If the top leg is extended, bend it in, and we come back to the center. Other side, the knees and the hips go to the left. The head goes to the right. Again, you can use the left arm just to help anchor that right thigh down. If you need to, you can extend the right leg, and we breathe. Every exhale, just allow the hips to go deeper into the twist and this right shoulder to melt down towards the floor. Last breath. If your top leg is straight, bend it back in and bring the knees back to the center. Give the knees a quick hug into your chest. And then use the hands behind the knees just to rock yourself up to a seated position. And we'll go for our forward folds. Our first forward fold is with both legs out straight. Take a moment to lift your spine up as tall as you can and lift the arms up to the ceiling. Keeping that feeling of lift, we start tilting forward. Keep reaching and reaching and reaching. Ideally, both hands are going to go around the soles of your feet, clasping the hands. Otherwise, take hold of the ankle or the outer edge of your foot. From here, we forward fold the head towards the shins. And we breathe here for 5 breaths. Keep the abs a little bit activated, so you're trying to make a hollow tummy, and keep drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Last breath. And then roll the spine back up to the top. Our one leg forward fold, you bend the right knee, closing the knee joint completely, and then take that knee out to the side. Place this foot as high up the inner edge of your left thigh as you can, and we go again. The arms reach up, you lift the spine, flexing that front foot again. Ideally, your hands will go all the way around the sole of your foot, clasping one wrist in the other hand. Otherwise, just go for the ankle or the outer border of your feet, lifting and lengthening forward. We breathe 5 times. Again, the abdominals are slightly activated inwards and the shoulders are just unshrugging away from the ears. And roll the spine up. We go for the rotated version of the same pose. So for this, you open your hips a little bit towards the side. You can move this knee a little bit, but try and keep this foot against the inner border of your thigh. You take your left hand and you feed it underneath this sit bone. And we're going to go over, see if you can grab hold of that big toe. Otherwise, just reach over sideways. Keep rolling your chest open up towards the ceiling so you feel this nice deep stretch down the right side of the body. One more breath. And then coming all the way up. Take this left hand out from underneath that thigh, close this knee and extend it forward. Let's go to the other side. The left leg folds in and the knee goes out to the side. Get this foot as high up the inner edge of your thigh. The arms reach up, lifting forward, clasping around the sole of the foot or grabbing the ankle, and we forward fold. Keep squaring both your shoulders towards the floor and deepen the abdominals as we breathe 5 times. Two more breaths. Actively draw the shoulders away from the ears. And roll the spine up. We open the hips and shoulders a little to the side. This knee will shift a little bit, but only shift the knee as far as this foot doesn't come away from this inner thigh. So I'm still planting my foot against that inner thigh. My right hand goes underneath this thigh. My left arm goes up, and then I take my side stretch. If you can grab hold of the foot, grab hold of the foot. Otherwise, just side bend to where you feel a nice deep stretch down this side of the body. Two more breaths. And coming all the way back up. Remove this bottom hand, close this leg, and slide it all the way forward. Our last forward fold is our closed angle pose. So you bring both feet up nice and close to your pelvis. For today, keep the soles of the feet together. Grab hold of the ankles as you lift your spine as tall as you can. And then you start lengthening forward with the longest, flattest spine that you can maintain. When you feel like you can't stay flat anymore, then you can forward curl. You can either keep your hands on your ankles to help pull yourself forward, or you can walk your hands all the way forward to help lengthen yourself past your feet. We breathe 5 times. So we are trying to see how far past the feet can we get our head. So you can use the arms in whichever position you chose to just gently either pull or push yourself forward. 2 more breaths. And then roll the spine up. From here we go into a little bit of rotation. I'll turn to face you to show you the setup. So from this butterfly position, take one foot and fold it all the way in towards the sit bone of the other foot, and then step that other foot over that knee. The hand comes around so that the arm can wrap the elbow around that front knee. The other hand goes behind you on the mat to help press your spine up. And then we rotate the spine over that back shoulder. If you want a little bit more rotation, rather than wrap this front arm, you can bring the elbow all the way around, reaching the hand to the floor, and use the back of that arm to help deepen you into the twist. So you have 2 options. Either the hand is just wrapped around the front leg, or the elbow is all the way straight and through. Let's take 2 more breaths in this rotation. And Carefully release the twist. Let's come back to the butterfly position so we can rebuild the pose from the other side. So the other leg folds in underneath towards that sit bone, so the heel is right up against my bottom. The other foot steps over. I circle the opposite arm first around that knee. The other hand goes behind you on the mat, lifting up through the spine, and then take a twist. Just take a few moments here first, and then if you do decide that you want to go a bit further, you take that arm all the way past the knee, nice straight elbow reaching down to the mat to help press you a little bit deeper into the rotation. Good, taking care the whole time to think lifting up towards the ceiling to avoid any compression of the discs. Couple more breaths here. And carefully release the rotation. Bring the feet back together, closing the knees, rolling onto the back. Let's go for our hip opening half bridge pose. Bring the feet sit bone width apart. Ideally, when you have your arms down by your sides, your middle finger should just be touching your heels. Now from here, lift the hips just about halfway first, so that we can clasp the hands underneath your bottom, rocking from side to side to walk the shoulder blades together until I feel like I'm on my arms and no longer on my neck. Now from here, I engage my bottom muscles, press the hips as high up to the ceiling as you can. And we hold here for 5 breaths. If you feel like there's pressure on your neck, then you just need to walk your arms a little closer together to come onto the fleshy part of your arm and off those neck bones. Keep actively pressing the hips up to the ceiling. Engage those bottom muscles. 2 more breaths. Then lower the hips about halfway, get the shoulders back out from under you, release the grip, and place the hips down. Give the knees a quick squeeze into your chest, wrapping the arms around. And we'll finish with our happy baby pose. So from this position, open the knees a little bit wider, and extend the feet up to the ceiling. The hands go around the inner borders of the feet. My feet stay flexed and I'm pointing my heels straight up to the ceiling. We don't want the heels to start falling down towards the wall. With my heels pointing up to the ceiling, I use my arms to pull my knees down on either side of my chest. And then I try and lay my tailbone down as heavy as I can. We breathe here for 5 breaths. So a couple of things. We don't want the bottom to be lifting all the way off the floor to here. Make that sit bone heavy. And we don't want the feet to fall down to here, to the sit bones. Send the feet up as if you're making a footprint on the ceiling. 2 more breaths. Then bring the heels together, bring the arms around the outside of the knees to help close the knees and give the legs a little hug in. Okay. For our finishing pose, we have our shoulder stand. I'll show the full shoulder stand and then I'll show the modification Have a look at the entry first so that you don't have to turn your head sideways once you're in the position. The legs will go up just to a comfortable distance. They don't have to go all the way straight here. You will take a little wind up with the legs to get a bit of momentum so that you can lift the hips up and place the hands under the pelvis. Now, this might be your shoulder stand for today with the legs just 45 degrees up and the hands on the pelvis, or you can walk the hands higher up your back and send the legs higher up to the ceiling. Okay, so have a little go with me now. I'll talk you through it of getting into the pose. So we're on the back with the legs up to the ceiling. We rock the legs a little bit away for momentum. We use the weight of the legs to lift the hips and bring the hands to the pelvis. If this feels very comfortable, you walk the hands a little higher up your back. You start lifting the hips up to the ceiling and you lift the toes up towards the sky. The eyes are looking at your big toes. If neither of those poses feel comfortable or available, then come to the wall variation. Bring your bottom all the way against the wall, rolling onto your back, and send the legs straight up towards the ceiling. And just breathe here. Traditionally, we hold shoulder stand a little bit longer, sometimes up to 25 breaths. But for today, let's just hold it for another 5. Gently pressing the inner thighs together. And just keep breathing. Last breath. To come out today, bend the knees so that the knees come towards your nose, and then use the hands to assist your pelvis all the way down, back to the floor. Give the knees a little squeeze into your chest. And then let's go for our final Shavasana. So just move yourself to the middle of your mat. Extend the legs out. Allow the legs just to rotate outwards comfortably. Bring the hands down by your sides with the palms facing up. Eyes looking straight up to the ceiling. And then close your eyes. Take a few moments here just to connect with the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just observing that sound that the air makes, that soft hissing sound. Now bring your awareness to the muscles of your toes. Feel those muscles just soften and relax. And then feel that relaxation traveling through the foot, through the arch of the foot, the heel, up to the ankle, until the entire foot and ankle is just completely relaxed and soft. Now bring your awareness to the muscles of your lower leg, the calves, the shins. Just feel those muscles dissolving and melting as all the tension just flows out, leaving the leg feeling heavy and relaxed. Now bring your awareness to the muscles of your upper leg, the fronts of your thighs and the backs of your thighs. Feel those big muscles just relax and melt that little bit heavier into the mat until there is no tension, just softness. Now bring your awareness to the muscles around your pelvis, the fronts of the hips and the bottom muscles. Just feel those muscles just completely melt until it feels like your pelvis and your bottom just becomes a little bit heavier on the mat. Now bring your awareness to the muscles of your abdomen, the front of your abdominal muscles, the lower back muscles, the chest muscles, and the backs of the shoulder muscles. Feel all of those muscles just soften and relax until your back becomes heavier, your spine becomes heavier, your shoulders become heavier as everything relaxes. Now bring your awareness to the muscles of your arms. The upper arm, the elbow, the lower arm, the wrist, the palms, and all the way down to the fingertips. Feel all of those muscles soften and relax so that your arms just become heavier and more relaxed on the mat. And then become aware of the muscles of your neck and your throat. Feel those muscles soften and relax until your head starts feeling heavier. And then allow that relaxation to travel up from the throat to the chin, the cheeks, the lips, the nose, the eyes, the eyebrows, the forehead, all the way across your scalp until your entire head and face feels like it's melting and getting heavier on the mat. Now in this state of complete relaxation from the toes to the crown of your head, just spend a few moments reconnecting with the breath. in through the nose and out through the nose. For the next 2 minutes, just feel that full body relaxation and just take this time to connect with the breath. I will keep my eye on the time. For the next 2 minutes, just be aware of the breath. And now slowly release the breath awareness and bring your attention back to the muscles of the toes and the fingers. Just slowly wiggling the fingers and the toes, making the movements bigger until we circle the ankles and the wrists. Take the arms up overhead for a nice long stretch, pointing the toes, arching the back. And then bending the knees, walk the feet in towards the bottom, keep the arms overhead and roll onto your right side. Let the head roll onto your right arm. The left hand rests in front of your chest on the mat. Take a moment here with the eyes closed, staying with the breath for a moment longer. And then when you feel ready, using your arms to help yourself up to a comfortable seated position, let's keep the eyes closed for a moment longer, bringing the hands folded into your lap, one hand resting in the other hand. Just spend the last few moments here observing your breath as it just naturally comes in and out through the nose. Slowly opening the eyes, letting the daylight back in, becoming aware of the room and the space around you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you've enjoyed your time with me on the mat. I know I certainly have. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again next time here at Silver Linings at Home. Namaste.